Welcome back, Recliner Sports Reporters to Keep the Change podcast. I'm Mac, and with me, as always, is Robbie. Robbie, how are you, good sir?
Oh, doing great, man. Just had a nice dinner. Went and got some Red Lobster, little surf
Red,
and turf action. The Wednesday special, $25 for a 7-ounce steak and a lobster tail with the side.
can't beat that. And the
Had some
cheddar
Cheddar Bay
biscuits.
biscuits.
Yep, it's the
Oh yeah,
biscuits.
had
The
had three
biscuits.
and a half of them.
Yeah, I used to love when they did the all-you-can-eat shrimp. That was my favorite.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so breaking news: Nick Saban has retired, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna get into Wildcard Weekend.
lots of greats.
We got lots of stuff to talk about, but before we get started, right before we went on, breaking news: Nick Saban has retired at the age of 72. Is he retired? Is this a Tom Brady moment? Is he going to go to the NFL? Is this real? I mean, before we get into speculations, first off, wow, what a great career that guy has.
Yeah,
Most players ever coached that have been drafted, topping Joe Paterno, which is a legend. So, talk to me. What are your thoughts on this? How are you feeling? Like what was your first reaction to hearing the news that he retired?
I'm not surprised. Saban's been very vocal and open about the fact that he doesn't like the new style, the new format, the way the NCAA is going with all the transfer portal, NIL money. He was pretty blunt about the fact that he doesn't like the fact that players are paid. And I could see him maybe trying to go back to the NFL. The guy's 72 years old. He might just be ready to hang him up and, go enjoy life, go vacation, see the world, relax a little bit. And it's just crazy that not only him, but Pete Carroll stepping down being a head coach today as well, and all the lingering rumors that Belichick's done as well. That's arguably three of the greatest coaches of our lifetime, all hanging them up the same season.
Yeah, and it is Bill Belichick next, right? Like, is
Yeah,
he like you start looking at that and you're like, man, hey, are they just gonna go and sit at a table somewhere and just enjoy football? Maybe they start their own, you know, streaming
yeah,
services for football. It's
their own podcast. Grumpy
right.
old coaches.
Oh my god! I mean, I would watch it. You'd see me. I'd be
Perfect
definitely,
name.
yeah, I'd be number one subscriber. Um, yeah, I think it's crazy that it's all happening like this because we're talking about some big names, guys that pretty much our whole life we've watched coach a football team.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, when you talk about, I mean, me as I coach, there's a lot of things that my principles come from these guys that you're talking about, right? So, crazy time. Uh, but it's not like they're getting out on top. I mean, they're getting out on top, right? Like there's no, oh my gosh, yeah, one of these guys going to give up. This is all like, wow, I feel like they have some more in them. So props to those guys for going out on their own terms. But I kind of agree with you on the Saban one. Is like he's been very vocal. Even Dion just tweeted, right? Like we need to take a look because the way that the college transfer portal and the NIL deals are going, it pushed away a goat, and like that's I don't necessarily disagree with him on this one. So crazy to say the least. But congrats, Nick Saban, to a fantastic career. And then but also before we get started, I'm wearing my Cincy hat. Ted Karras, if we can get a win, Bengals. Ted Karras won the fans' vote for Walter Payton Man of the Year. I don't know if that necessarily means he wins the award, but he won the fan voting. For his hats, I'll go to the Village of Mercy, a community for adults with disabilities. So go head on over to his shop, the Cincy Hat Shop, and get one of those just for a good cause. All right, buddy. It is Wild Card Weekend. And wow, do we have some storylines just in the wild card. Every game pretty much has a storyline to it. I mean, every single one. So let's start off. We'll go right in order. We'll go right down to our very first game. I want to hear your thoughts. This is the big one. You're there. You did it. You had a little bit of a drought, but we're getting Browns, Texans. We're getting a team that traded away their high-profile quarterback. Took a dip last year, but then went and had what we said every week almost, best draft. And now are looking at a very, very hot, young, hungry team, but going against the toughest defense in the league, a savvy vet. I mean, we're talking about a vet with Super Bowl playing experience and a Super Bowl himself. Talk to me. How are you seeing this one play out?
Honestly, this is the team that I at least wanted to see in this game out of the three options we had going into last week. But that's just because I am such a big fan of CJ Stroud and what D'Amico Ryans has done turning that team around. I like the Texans, but not this week. And I'm feeling good going in because you know what? As well as CJ's done, when he's faced top tier pass defenses, is when he's had the worst games so far this season. He doesn't do well against top 10 pass defenses. In those games, he's at very subpar compared to his normal numbers that he was putting up. And it just so happens the Browns have number one pass defense in the NFL. Our secondary is getting healthy. Grant Delpit just returned from IR. Ward's rested up and healthy. A lot of these guys, they got to take last week off. Everybody at this point's banged up, bruised up a little bit. So getting that extra rest, I feel is going to be huge. I feel really good about the Browns, and I feel good about us covering the spreads at 2.5. We're going to win by at least a field goal. But I put a little parlay together.
Let's hear it.
Little
Let's hear it.
legger. Comes out to plus 1,500 on DraftKings right now. So I got the Browns minus 2.5. Mari Cooper's been killing it, and he just got some rest. So I got Cooper going for 75 plus yards, getting an anytime touchdown. David Njoku getting 50 receiving yards. And this one was my favorite one. It was plus low 200s. Riley Patterson over 2.5 extra points. Put those five together, it comes out to plus 1,500. I was one of I've got quite a few going on that game so far this weekend, but that was one I like the most so far. They don't have any of the defensive player props out yet for the Browns though at this point. So that's another one I like. If JOK's tackles are under 5.5, I like that. And I'm thinking the Browns get a pick this week too.
I mean, when you have a great pass rush, right? Quarterbacks tend to start throwing balls that they might necessarily not usually throw. I like all that. Now, I am seeing here on the injury report, okay, Myles Garrett, questionable. Have you heard anything about Garrett?
So he was out for personal reasons.
Okay.
What I'm guessing that is, he had a close family member that passed away in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Probably went out of town, handled some of that, funeral, celebration of life, whatever they had going on. That would be my assumption.
Well, I would like to take him for an anytime sack. That's to me, easy. I think that's a given. I think this is going to come down to two things. Can the Texans slow down the defensive pass rush that the Cleveland Browns have shown that they've been so dominant? And can the Houston Texans defensively stop a pretty solid run game that has been established by, your two-headed monster in Ford and Hunt? Now, same thing. Hunt's also questionable right now, but I think even with just Ford, you have a strong run game. Then it comes back to Joe Flacco, a guy who has, since he's come into Cleveland, done the right things and playing as if it's like you had him on Madden and it's just like he's still at his overall ratings, even though it's like there's no way he should be, but he's still there. He's still got his same ratings and he's still playing the same way that we've seen him play when we were younger and watching him with the Ravens. So Can Joe Flacco keep it going? I think he can. I think this is going to be a really close game. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a low scoring game. Right now, the over and under is set at 44 and a half. I could see this hitting under. So I'd like the under in this game. I think the 2.5 is right on. To me, playoff football, though, these games are usually decided by 3. So can I think that the Browns can win? Yes, but more than 3. I got to favor with the home team in a playoff game, especially in Houston. So I'm going to go with the points for the Texans. I still think the Browns win this game, but here's what I don't want to see is some late touchdown or something really just late at the end, and it closes that gap. And I'm over here with the Browns minus 2.5 being like, great, Browns won, but now I just lost. So I'm going to buy the points on the other side. Take it as if the Browns win, great, good for the AFC North. If they don't win by more than 3, more than 3, I'm still winning money. And if the Texans win, it stinks, but at least I'm up some money. So it's a good I'm playing for the win-wins all around. But I really do think the real bet here is the under 44.5. I think that's the solid bet. Player prop wise, I like all the ones you just mentioned. And I think, again, one that you got to take over on Njoku's receiving yards and receptions. Just parlay those two together. Parlay them together. I'm not.
Yep.
I've been trying to stay away from parlays recently, but when I like a player prop like that, I like to just take both of those because I like the odds have been favoring that man, and we've taken that bet a lot this year, and it's hit at least an 80% rate this season. And then CJ Stroud completions. I like his completions on this one. I think he's going to have a hard time hitting the passing over just because that's such a tough
Pretty high
defense.
number.
But I do at that on the other side then take Singletary, taking Singletary for a anytime touchdown. I like taking on that end. All right. Any final thoughts before we move on to the next game? Either way, it's going to be. This is a great game. Pumped up in
Yeah.
this is how we're starting Wildcard weekend.
Just one more thing I put on that one is that since Flacco has been playing, and Njoku's averaging just under 10 targets a game and over 6 catches.
Yep.
He loves them. He likes to use the middle of the field, and he knows that the guy likes to run angry. Get him the ball, and he's going to get you some yak.
And what was Flacco known for when he was with the Ravens? Getting the ball to his tight ends. I mean, that's old. That's just like, again, classic football, old school football. Take the routes that are open. And and Flacco, he goes by the rules, man. There's a reason why he's good. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's no doubt about it. He's a great quarterback. And it's awesome to see him be successful. And I'm glad he's doing.
He solidifies this second Super Bowl, second Super Bowl MVP. Man, he got to be a Hall of Famer at that point.
That would be crazy.
Think he'll be wearing a Browns or a Ravens jersey when he gets inducted.
Got to be Browns. I hope.
Oh yeah.
Get rid of the Ravens. All right. All right. Moving on to the second banger of a game on your Saturday. The Dolphins versus the Chiefs. The return of Tyreek Hill to his formerly known Chiefs. The Chiefs kind of been having a rough go these last couple of weeks. This game is now potentially going to be one of the coldest games in NFL playoff history. The wind chills are starting off at 0 degrees right now. They don't even know if they're going to have the game or fans in attendance. It's getting crazy weather out there. You would have thought this game was in Buffalo. That's how crazy this game is getting right now. But you got Dolphins, Chiefs. Robbie, talk to me. What's your bets on this one? What's your takes?
Well, my first take is, man, people need to suck it up. It's a football game. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's not always going to be 70 degrees and sunny and beautiful weather. That is the home field advantage of playing in the North and living in the North. I was at the Browns Saints game last year where wind chills got down to negative 37. And you know what? That game was completely meaningless. Our season was done. There were still fans there. Was it cold? Yeah, just for the weather. But don't change it. Don't take away the home field advantage that the Chiefs earned and play the game in Indy, some neutral site in a dome that really plays into the Dolphins' hand. I think that's unfair, and that the Chiefs earned that home field advantage. So the game needs to be played in Kansas City, and they have to allow fans there.
It's funny you say that though, because if you rewind one year, they didn't earn their home field advantage. So, so,
Yeah,
so, but no, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's one thing when you're talking about this game, a team that's played so poorly on the road. Um, that is one advantage right now the Chiefs do have. And honestly, if you're the Chiefs, you're looking for all types of advantages right now because I see this game. I see the Chiefs winning because the Dolphins haven't played well enough on the road. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Chiefs get knocked out first round and the Dolphins figure out a way to do it. The problem is, and that'd be a surprise to me because the way the Dolphins have played on the road and in big games, they haven't done well. And you got to go with the stats on this one. Now, the way that I'm looking at this one is I think you stick with the player props. That's what I think you stick with. Now, with this being cold weather, all right,
the
I think
unders.
you start looking at some unders on these player props. Most importantly, the under that I do like, 44 and a half. I think if the weather stays this way, 44
No
and a
way.
half seems very, very high for this game. I believe, let me just double check what their last score was. Their last score was 41 to or 21 to 14. So that's under that. And that was in Germany. So you look at that. Okay. We're looking at some of that. Plus the Chiefs offense. I mean, you're talking about a Chiefs offense that went against the Bengals, who are the worst defense, and they won a game because of field goals, right?
No.
The Dolphins fell apart in the second half against the Bills. They only scored 14. So 44 and a half to me on a snowy day, that seems like the bet of the day. That seems like the bet of the night for me. What are some of your best bets?
And I like Travis Kelsey in the playoffs. It's who Mahomes knows. It's who he trusts. So I feel like that's who he's going to be going to a lot Sunday or whatever that is, Saturday night. And receptions right now is set at 5.5, which I like the over on that. Put a little five legger together, comes out plus 850. 5.5 catches for Kelsey. Kelsey to hit 60 yards, averaging a little over, 10 a catch. Tariq Hill, I think, is going to do something still in this game. He's going to do something exciting in his return to Arrowhead. So I got him at over 70 yards. I think his line was set at 87.5 right now for receiving yards. That's a little higher than I want to go on it, but I like him for 70. And I think he gets in the end zone. So Hill with an anytime touchdown. And although I think Kansas City wins the game, like we were just talking about the last one, playoff football usually comes down to a field goal. Giving 4.5 points, I like the Dolphins.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Either way, again, another great storyline. And again, two great football games on a Saturday. Start your weekend
Taylor
off right.
Swift's going to be there, so there's that.
So that would help your Kelsey on receptions. I
Yeah,
like that. That's another reason to take Kelsey on over on his 5.5 receptions. Taylor Swift's in the building. All right. Moving on to Sunday. We're going to now take a little bit of a break here. Okay. We're going to, you get amped up on a Saturday. There needs to be something to kind of chill you out. Now, Steelers Bills. Once again, Mike Tomlin has found a way to get his Steelers into the playoffs with shockingly a minus 21 point differential on the season, which is just outrageous. 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 Crazy. You look at that, you got a Bills team who, since firing their offensive coordinator, has remembered that they can run the ball, that they don't have to just rely on Josh Allen. And now even you got their special teams players making plays. All the pictures say Bills win this one. And minus 10, that's not, I wouldn't be shocked. But here's where I start getting tricky, is because you got the Steelers, who have no pressure in this game. No one expected them to be here. No one cared. Everyone's forgotten about them. could this, with all the pressure that's building up on Josh Allen in Buffalo, this is supposed to be an easy win. He's going to do it. They're riding high. Could this be a wheels fall off moment, which we've seen happen to the man? And
Mm-hmm.
what better guy to make that happen than a gritty Steelers defense, which, again, comparative to the Browns, one of the best in the league. This is going to be a tough defense. They're great against the run. So if they can take away that run game, they're a team that secondary forces a lot of turnovers because their defensive line has a great pass rush. It's going to give a little bit more fit than I think people are giving the Steelers credit. My best bet for this one, weirdly enough, going to go with the division. Steelers plus 10. That's my best bet on that one. What do you got for this one?
And I like them at plus 10 just because they always find ways to keep the games close. And Josh Allen is going to turn the ball over. It's going to happen. I mean, in his last 5 games, I think he has 6 turnovers. But that being said, my parlay revolves all around Josh Allen. I think he's going to get 1 through the ground, 2 through the air, 200 passing yards, throw a pick. Dalton Kincaid gets over 36.5 receiving yards, and the Bills win the game. Bring out a plus 1,500.
Dude, that's just like a full game parlay right there, buddy. That's like you're just predicting the game.
The lottery ticket.
And I love it. But those are all like reasonable things for each one of those players to do. Nothing outrageous. And if you look back at like a lot of the games that the Buffalo Bills had, you would see that same stat multiple times for that right there. So
that exact bet over the last 5 games would have hit 3 out of the 5 games, and one of the games it missed by 1 leg.
So if you're a gambling man, to me, that sounds great. That sounds like a great one to me.
Plus 15, 3 out of 5.
You can't pass that one up. All right. Moving on to Packers Cowboys. You have a Packers team who the Jordan Love experiment is finally panning out for them. And then you got the Cowboys. Oh, the Cowboys. I'm going to give it to you after I hear yours, because I have some things I'd like to say about the Cowboys. But what a game this will be in Dallas. Talk to me, Rob. Before I get going here, talk to me. Let me know.
Favorite bet of the entire wild card weekend comes from this game. And late in this season, I've gotten big into defensive player props. I love defensive player props. You can get Micah Parsons over on tackles at 2.5 for over plus 200.
Say it again one more time for the people in the back, because that's a good bet. Here we go.
Micah Parsons.
Nuke it bet.
Micah Parsons over 2.5 tackles for a plus 220.
Come on. That sounds too easy.
That sounds too easy. Micah Parsons is one of the top 3 to 5 players in the entire NFL. He's going to get 3 tackles in the game. But that being said, I got the rest of my entire parlay revolving around the team that I think is going to win it, and that's them boys. Not a Cowboys fan, but I don't trust Jordan Love yet. And I don't feel like he's got enough talent around him to fully help him. They've done a good job this year. He's impressed me a lot. But I got the Cowboys money line. CD Lamb did a great job for me in fantasy this year. Made me some money, so I can't complain about that. I think he's getting in the end zone. I've been a big fan of Jake Ferguson late this year. His line's at 40.5 for receiving yards. I think he hits the over on that.
I love Ferguson. I take him every week in DraftKings. Take him every week.
Yeah. He's one of the best low-value, high-production tight ends in the NFL. But other one, I got 225 passing yards from Dak. Throw that together, comes out to plus 750.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
No, I feel like you're about to say, "Go Pack, go,"
Yeah, I
and
mean,
we
listen,
disagree on this game.
listen, listen. Okay, I sat here. Let me see
There's actually some disagreements here finally on some
how many
games. Only
weeks
took us until wild card weekend.
how many weeks ago was this? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. December 17th. Let me take it back. December 17th, I sat here and was all about the Dallas Cowboys. They're turning their season around. And they went and pulled the mask right over my face. I am done with the Dallas Cowboys. The bet of the night, okay? It's not that the Packers are beat up, okay? On paper, the Dallas Cowboys are better. But here's who's going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, okay? They're going to just beat themselves. Take the money line on the Packers, forget the points, throw it out. You don't even need to buy it. Trust me. The Cowboys will find a way to lose this game. It's not about can they win. Of course they can win. They will find a way to lose this game. All right. My thing,
They're
and
good at that.
the only thing that I think I'm a little worried about is the Cowboys are at home. They played well at home. The games that they've lost big have been on the road. But every time I take stock in the Cowboys, all they do is let me down at 7.5 in a big wide money line, which I think you can get some places right now. Let me just double check what the money line currently is at. And here's my thing while I'm looking this up.
Right.
Here's
Plus
my
three.
thing. Yeah, here's my thing with money lines. Okay. When you're taking an underdog, try to wait as long as you can. When you're taking a favorite, take it early. Plus 305 right now. Chill on that. Chill on it. It's gonna
It'll
get
get
up
up to
there.
340, 350.
Chill on that. Let it settle. Let it simmer. And go ahead, put just a unit on it. And because honestly, what's the other end of that? Okay, you're going to go take 7.5 points and sweat the Dallas Cowboys, or there's no value in the money line. You get the over under, which you can't predict anything at 50.5. That could hit or not hit. Don't know. But here's where I feel confident is if there's one game to kind of like maybe even stay away from, but if you want to sprinkle something, sprinkle a little on the Packers money line at that high of odds. Sit back, make yourself a nice afternoon cocktail, get out your snacks, your charcuterie boards, and enjoy yourself watching that happen because I'm telling you right now, the Dallas Cowboys beat themselves in this game. That's what I'm calling. I know I sound like Stephen A. Smith right now, but it's because I'm so upset with what happened to the Bills. I'm done with them.
Hey, they made us look dumb, but
Dumb.
not the first time, not the last time. But I still like them this week. But I completely understand where you're coming from. I wholeheartedly agree.
All
But
right.
the game I'm most excited for Sunday is that night game.
Talk to me here, because this is years. What was this?
Stafford
3 years ago
returning
now.
to Detroit. Goff going up against the team that drafted him.
3 years ago, this happened where it was just a swap of places, and pretty much it seemed like Jared Goff got sent to a early retirement. And now we're seeing them. NFL scriptwriters, they knew what they were doing. You got the Rams, who everyone says, oh, the Rams are playing so good. They've kind of found their groove. No, they found Cooper Kupp. He came off as the injury list, okay? There's no doubt that the Rams are a different team when they got him. And they just so happen to have one of the best rookie receivers, if not one of the best receivers in the league in Puka Nacua. And then you got the Lions, who have been just gritty. They're my favorite right now to win the Super Bowl. But talk to me, what's your best bets and takeaways from this one?
And I am staying away from it. I love the Lions as well, but that Rams team's tough. I'm staying away from any bets on the actual money line, on the spread. I'm going straight player props. I think this is going to be a high scoring shootout. I see 250 plus passing yards both ways for Goff and Stafford. I think it's going to be up and down the field. David Montgomery, the dude just finds ways into the end zone. He's going to end up getting an anytime touchdown. And both of the running backs in this game are good, explosive receiving running backs, and I feel like have relatively low lines on their receiving yards. Kyron Williams is set at 16.5, and Jahmyr Gibbs is at 22.5. I like the over on both of those bets. If you parlay those together on DraftKings, it's going to bring you back out around 750. Only one that I sweat a little bit on there is the Monty anytime touchdown, but when they get down at the goal line, he gets the ball.
Yep. They love to stick to their run game. They do.
Yep.
All right.
What you got?
This one's tough for me. And I would feel a lot more confident if this player was playing. Sam Laporta. That injury he took. Everyone's giving Dan Campbell crap. He's still questionable right now. I think without him, this game changes a lot. But I'm going to go the safe route, and I'm just going to take the Lions money line. I know you're not going to get great value on that. I think it's going to be like minus 150, which I know it's 160 right now. I think if news comes out that Laporta is out, I think that might drop it a little bit, but I'm going to go safe. I'm not going to do points or anything like that. I'm going to bet the money line on the Lions. Again, I think you have a team right now who has culturally become a new team. Dan Campbell, I'm going to ride with them until they lose or until they win this Super Bowl, which, again, they're my favorite. So I love this matchup, though. The problem is without Laporta, can they establish the run game? I think they can. Can they? And you got a lot of in Wise because you got a couple key guys on the Rams defense that are injured right now. So you look at that. Okay, can they get the run game going? Can they get St. Brown in the game? All right, if they can do those things and control the clock, I think the Lions can win. Now, looking on the Rams side, I think you're right. I think they need to make this a shootout. I think they really need to test the Lions secondary, get their receivers deep down the field because they have two great weapons. They can do that. I think the Rams make this a close one. I like your idea though on this 51.5 on this over. Looking at the Rams since Cooper Kupp's come back, they've put up around like 25 points a game, a little bit probably higher than like 28 points a game. So you look at that and you look at the Lions and how well they've been on offense, that over 50.5, we could be looking at like a 28-29 game or 28-31 game, something like that. That's I think that could be a really real possibility. All right. We only got a little bit of time left, so let's knock this one out. This one's exciting. You got the terrible right now, terrible, absolutely terrible. Not even the dirty birds, the disgusting birds right now going against the Buccaneers, who you got Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans having stellar seasons. Talk to me in Tampa. What's your takeaways on this one?
I'm riding with Baker. I feel good about Tampa Bay going into this game. I know that Philly's been one of the best teams in the NFL over the last 3 years. Not over the last 3 to 5 weeks, though. Eagles are playing some of the worst football I've seen this team play in a long time. And Tampa Bay just keeps finding ways to win games. And I really like them in this game. I like Tampa on the money line. This was my biggest lottery ticket parlay that I threw together so far. Comes out to plus 1,700, but I got the Bucks money line, Baker throwing for 225, Mike Evans over 50 receiving yards, Cade Otton, this one I like a lot, over 21.5 receiving yards, and Antoine Winfield Jr. over 2.5 assists.
Love it.
I'm feeling really good about that one. And I wish I could be coming down there with you, buddy. It would be fun.
Yes, I will be at that game. It is gonna be fun, and I love it. Being able to go to this game and not really have a dog in the fight, except for the one that I choose to bet on. This one I'm gonna be a live line on. All right, I'm gonna, especially with me being in the game, I'm gonna see how it plays out. Because here's what I see is you got two teams, right? Eagles clearly have been on the more downhill path, but the Bucks too, right? They had a chance a couple weeks ago to really seal the division and went and laid an egg in New Orleans. Last week they only put up 3 field goals. So you have two teams right now who have kind of had these games where they've kind of self-imploded. We're going to get a good feel for it, I think, for this one. If you're liking value, though, I see nothing wrong. I would advise right now to say to me, I think there's a lot of value in taking just right now the Buccaneers money line. I like that bet. But me, I'm going to play this one smart. And since I'm going to be there, I'm going to play this one through the live line games. I'm not going to make a bet. But if you really want one and you're like, okay, come on, man, we listen to you to give us picks. I think the Bucks money line is the way to go here. Mostly because, again, this is just what the Eagles have produced these last couple of weeks. Something's wrong. I don't know. We've said it. Oh, they're going to get it right. They're going to get it right. They're going to get it right. But they haven't. And I don't know if I can put money on that. I don't know if there's value of putting my hard-earned dollars on something that I haven't seen much of, when I could put it on a team who I know at least has some energy to them, and they're at home in a tough environment. So Bucks money line sounds right now pretty good, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to check out the live line, see what happens on there.
One thing that just I keep feeling, I've got a couple buddies that are big Eagles fans, and they're giving up on this team.
Yeah.
When your diehard fans are giving up on this team, on your team, while you're in the playoffs, before the playoffs even start, and saying, it just wasn't our year this year.
That's when
And
you know something's really
it's
wrong.
hard to throw money on that team. And I've been a big Eagles fan since they drafted Jalen Hurts.
Same.
I've been a Jalen Hurts fan, but the team's just not playing well.
They aren't.
They need a pretty big Dom. This all started with San Francisco.
It really did. That whole entire incident. It really did. Something's wrong in Philly. I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll find themselves in Florida, but that's a tough place to find yourself, because sometimes you just stay lost.
Nah,
all right,
the Browns Super Bowl matchup. That's what I'm still pulling for.
Right. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. We are out of time, but thank you so much, Robbie. Thank you as always, buddy. Best of luck to everyone. Have a great wild card weekend. Don't be sad that it's almost over. Just be glad that we got a couple more weeks left. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. We love you all. And don't forget, keep the change.